Hey, this is David for Big Bits, and this is the Bitcoin Daily Update, and we're going to take a look at several big items that are coming up. Most notably, if you're looking at the title of the video, is the Zuckerberg Testimony. His statement, his opening statement has been leaked. There's a really good document out there with information, with notation really on important things that are being discussed by him in there. So we're going to take a look at that briefly. There was an article came out that claimed the Trump administration popped the 2017 Bitcoin bubble, and a couple of other things we're going to get to. We got several things to cover. We're going to try and be really quick. One thing you may notice if you look at the screen is I did publish the 9th script in the tutorial series for scripting on TradingView, and we created a strategy. You can look at the performance summary of this. It's very simple strategy, just moving average crossovers using the indicator we've built in the series. But you can get a kind of an idea here of what you can expect. There's a performance summary down at the bottom. There's a list of trades. I know my head's kind of in the way. Let me move that real quick. All right, you can see the list of trades, their profits, performance summary, and also an overview here. So look for that video to be coming out soon. And as far as Bitcoin price is going right now, really, not a lot going on. That's about all you can really say. The indicators are all fairly neutral. RSI is kind of having pressure relieved back up closer to neutral territory, although it is kind of staying on the bearish side of things. Pull up my other indicators I typically use, the MACD and also the stochastic RSI. Just a moment. And then let's hide that strategy information. Okay, yeah, MACD is still bullish, but you know, it's really low and it's just kind of gradually floating back up to neutral territory. A lot of times that happens, it's going to continue to slowly move up, or it's either going to cross down first or make a big move up and really head up. So we'll take a look for that. You can see there's also some sort of a divergence here. So honestly, to me, it doesn't look that great because you have a 50 under 200 crossover forecasted here. And that's generally a bad sign. With testimony tomorrow from Zuckerberg, it's probably going to be a news event tomorrow. So those usually aren't good either. I'm keeping my eyes open for potential another drop in price, and maybe we break out of this consolidated area, but we'll see. Yeah, that's really all there is on this. I did want to point out a couple of the other coins that I look at. Basic attention token, I mentioned we were hitting resistance there, and price really shot up today, and it hit those areas I was talking about. I don't believe it hit, oh yeah, it did hit that target, 3,000 Satoshis, went a little bit above it. So I would look personally for myself to take a little partial profits here. Of course, not financial advice for you, but I have been accumulating down here. I'm personally going to be taking some profits around here. I'm hopeful that it's going to get up to the 200, but I'm not entirely sold that it's going to break above the 200. But I don't know if I'm going to sell anymore, because I really would like to catch a move like this where price goes up very quickly, and we'll see if that's yet to come. So, and if it doesn't happen now, then hopefully the price can come down and I can accumulate more and catch one of those big waves eventually, because this is one of the projects I really believe in. So we do have that 50 over 100 cross. It just happened on that candle, so maybe that was part of the reason the price was propelled upward so much. There's really a lot going on with some of these altcoins. Ethereum, it has crossed over recently versus Bitcoin. Stochastic RSI is incredibly low. The divergence on MACD is decreasing. The smooth histogram has been negative for a very long time. This could be something I would look at in the very short term to come up and test around here, around 24,380. So yeah, where is that at? about right here. Yeah, so that happens to be the 200-day moving average. So we might come up there pretty soon on Ethereum, Bitcoin, but we'll see. All right, so if you want to check out that script and the strategy and stuff, check out my TradingView profile. It's in the description of the video. Um, there are other ones as well. You can see we got a lot of likes on these scripts and several ideas posted. Check out the TradingView profile, and if you follow me on there, you'll get updates whenever I post the new scripts. All right, so one of the key things coming up tomorrow is there is this Zuckerberg testimony. He is going to be before the House Committee. I forget the exact name of it. The House Committee on Financial Services. Okay, he's going to be talking to them. He has this statement that he's prepared. It got leaked, and people have left notations. I recommend you search for this tweet. I'll put it in the description later. I'll put all these links in the description later, but look for this tweet. This guy went through and he did the notations, so got to give him credit. He did a really good job. There's a few key things, of course, he highlighted. Essentially, they're trying to distance, or Zuckerberg is trying to distance himself from Libra personally. He's trying to make it seem like it is his responsibility as a U.S. company to combat China, as you can see here. Uh, Essentially, he's painting the picture that, you know, they're the good guys trying to protect us from the bad guys, which is China, and they're trying to protect free speech. And then he goes on to say that, you know, Libra is another entity all of itself. I'm not a part of it. There's a bunch of people working together. And then he goes on to essentially defend himself versus all of the accusations or the terrible accusations that they've made with Facebook. So really the entire second half is just him defending Facebook on this, and he has his own final thoughts. But one of the things that he mentions, and something that I've kind of been mentioning as well, is that with other legislators mentioning recently that they would consider a digital dollar, and other financial services members considering a digital dollar, this might be the catalyst that triggers perhaps a committee. He says that down here. I don't think, yeah, my head's kind of in the way. That's okay. But he says they might say that they're going to start a committee to look into it and prevent Facebook from making their own. And if you didn't see, there was also another article today that came out that said that there was legislation pushed forward to potentially label stable coins or tethered coins as securities. And that's pretty much what Libra is. It's going to be mostly backed by the dollar. It even says that in here. So if that law passes, this is clearly a security, and it will never happen. So it makes you wonder. And they also, there's such a thing called competitive disadvantage. And when you're talking about having the global reserve currency, if you are the leader in the market and you want to maintain your edge, you want to keep your competitive advantage, and when everybody else is adopting the technology, if you don't, you are at a competitive disadvantage. So the lawmakers may look to form a committee to look into a digital dollar, or they might tell Libra to just go with Bitcoin or do something else that isn't a security. Honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why they need it when they could just use the dollar or something else that's already out there. But please, once again, look up this person, Nathaniel Whitmore, on Twitter. He posted his notations on the Zuckerberg testimony. They're pretty good, and he gives a pretty good conclusion at the end of it. And we've already talked about all of this in the past, but this is going to be news tomorrow. So keep this in mind, especially with the price. If something were to happen tomorrow, it may be good, it may be bad. Just keep an eye out for tomorrow. All right, so one of the other articles that came out today says that the Trump administration popped the 2017 Bitcoin bubble. And the way the headline reads, it's like Trump told people to do something about Bitcoin. That's not necessarily true. I believe this is one of the people he appointed, which was Gary Cohn, and it says he believed that the launch of Bitcoin futures would have the impact of popping the Bitcoin bubble, and it worked. Well, that's true. And well, the first line out of here says that the Trump administration acted to deflate the Bitcoin bubble of 2017 by introducing the future products, excuse me. Now, they say that they saw the bubble was building and they thought the best way to address it was to allow the market to interact with it. And by that, what they mean is that if you do believe it's a ridiculous price and people thought it was a bubble, they thought it was crazy, it was insane, they thought it was tulip mania, whatever, they didn't have a way to short it, at least not legally as a US resident. So they allowed the creation of that derivative, and now it was no longer just a believer's market, and it could be more fairly traded in their opinion. So that's one of the reasons they did it. And one of the lessons that they learned was that they can't be complacent whenever there's a bubble. They can actually try to do things to interact with it. That doesn't mean there won't be bubbles again in the future, but as a lot of the log charts predict with Bitcoin, they're probably not going to be quite as large anyway. And also, the 2017 bubble was also very much overextended already. And just the introduction of the futures gave people the opportunity to do something different, and that's why it did crash. So we'll see if that has a long-term impact or if we go into another bull run soon. Another thing I wanted to look at was Bitmain is building the world's largest Bitcoin mine in rural Texas. I know what the first thing most people are going to think is, why would you build it in America? Aren't energy prices so high? Well, apparently Texas has abundance of power resources, so it's probably not going to affect electrical prices for those people in that area. Now, it's also going to be bringing jobs and revenue to the people of that town. One of the things you might expect to happen is people are confused. They don't know what that is, and that's happening. I'll come back up to that comment in a moment, but it says that people are skeptical because nobody really understands how it works. And you can see the people that they're talking to about it, and I'm a white man, but these people look like country folks. It's a country setting in Texas. Most stereotypes of people into crypto are not pictured here. So you can imagine why that might be the case. These people are probably farmers who are working. They don't really care about Bitcoin all that much. I used to be a farmer myself, and I didn't care about computers at all until I started growing up. So they don't understand it. They don't have to. It's bringing jobs and it's bringing revenue, and they like it for that. All right, but one of the key takeaways from this, if you're going to remember anything really, is that it's going to be using 25 megawatts, which is about 20,000 average households, but they say it has the capacity to potentially reach 300 megawatts, making it the world's largest. That is very large. Very, very large. All right. And the last thing I want to talk about here is New York's financial regulator looking at the bit license. And if you read the quotes, it makes it seem like they realize that it needs to change. So it says they look and see how the regime is fitting the current market. And has the industry grown? Has it matured in any way? And it has quite a bit. And one of the key takeaways is that for a long time, they had only given out a few bit licenses, but see, 6 licenses between June 2015 and June 2018. But since then, over the last year and few months, there's been 16 added in the last 20 months. That's a lot more, so that kind of leads you to believe that when they started out, they were probably a lot more strict, and it makes a lot of sense if you're a regulator to be more strict up front and to not take a chance on letting any bad actors in. So they're going to review it and look to change anything. So that's all for tonight. If you like the video, please like, please subscribe, check out the TradingView profile, and check out all of the scripts for the tutorial. There's a video series here on YouTube. So leave a comment if you like. Let me know what you think is going to happen, if this Zuckerberg thing is going to cause any news-driven price action, or if you think the 50 under 200 crossover is going to do anything. But thank you all, and have a great night.